From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
It's 6:30, and we're ready to start the last half hour of Montana This Morning on a Friday. So glad you could join us. If you're going out to milk the cows or you're getting the kids ready for school, Chet Lehman along with Donna Kelly.
Oh, lots to talk about this morning. There's a live shot in Butte, thanks to Community Hospital of Anaconda. It's going to be a really nice day. A little breezy, a little cloudy, and then changes going to roll our direction. So get out and enjoy your Friday. It is the 22nd day of October. Here's what it looks like out there. Satellite and radar shows a few clouds blowing in to southwest Montana. Tomorrow is the opening day of hunting season, the general hunting season. If you're heading to northwestern Montana, take some winter clothes with you. Right now, temperatures in the 40s for the most part here around southwest Montana, 38 in Livingston, 46 in Ennis, 23 in West Yellowstone. As far as that forecast, I'll have all the details from the patio, Donna, coming up in just a few minutes.
Wonderful. 32 minutes after the hour. We are sure that you've noticed more people moving into the Gallatin Valley. What changes immediately and what can happen long term in our Two Americas report?
People from across Bozeman come together to feed families half a world away. I'm Holly Brantley, and I've got a Positively Montana for you coming up.
Ranges and fields, rivers and streams. Just beyond Yellowstone National Park, Bozeman, Montana is surrounded by nature and growing faster than nature can keep up.
This is just looking south.
Tim Crawford is an environmental activist
Here's more of a
who takes photos of the place he's lived 3 decades. In the decade to come, Bozeman's population is on pace to quadruple.
The problem is everybody's seen the money to be made in development here, but nobody has bothered to keep up with the infrastructure.
Crawford fears more people means fewer resources. It's a common concern from his house to the State House.
The more people we get out on the rivers, even practicing catch and release, it begins to take a toll on fish over time when you get the pressure accelerating like it has here in the last 10 to 15 years.
Crawford worries about the water.
We now have algal growth in some of our streams that never was there 10 years ago. More people, more effluent in our sewer systems, and then we have this heat. And that's a bad combination, as everyone knows.
The challenges in Montana fill pockets across America. 2020 census data shows a trend of Americans ditching big cities for scenic homesteads. New Braunfels, Texas, Breckenridge, Colorado, St. George, Utah, Buckeye City, Arizona. All are smaller cities known for natural amenities. All face substantial growth.
I think one of the major draws is the open space.
Jesse Keenan is a real estate professor at Tulane University.
Particularly in the age of COVID, households are changing their preferences about where they can work, how they can work, and the amenities that we think about the environment, national parks, state, even local parks begin to have greater value.
In the 1960s, Boulder, Colorado faced similar growth and similar environmental concerns. The city responded with the Blue Line Plan, refusing to provide city services beyond a certain elevation.
How do you have those hard conversations to ensure that we're not just thinking about the decisions of today, but we're thinking about the generation of tomorrow?
They've got similar plans in Bozeman, except they want to build up, not out.
We're not afraid of growth. We're not trying to squash growth by any way. We're just trying to make, when a growth happens, that it's done in a very responsible way, that's measured.
Tim Crawford is skeptical.
Oh, hush now.
He sees a city where Mother Nature
Then here's one, a different mood.
Must now face human nature. In Bozeman, Montana, I'm Matt Pearl.
While COVID-19 vaccines are getting most of the headlines right now, researchers at the University of Montana are working on another vaccine which could affect millions of people. MTN's Dennis Bragg explains.
Over 150 Montanans died from opioid overdose in the year ending in May 2020, and researchers at the University of Montana worry the COVID pandemic is only adding pressure to the national crisis that's killed 450,000 people in the U.S. in 20 years.
All of these stay at home, people losing their jobs, other family situations drives people towards drug and alcohol abuse or abuse of prescription pain medicine. So I actually think when the COVID thing is over, which hopefully is very soon, the underlying opioid condition we'll find has actually gotten worse in that time.
But UM researchers are pursuing a tool to help, an actual opioid vaccine.
We take the opioid, which we call it a hapten because we're trying to generate an immune response against it. We link it to a carrier protein, which allows the immune system to recognize it. And once it recognizes it, it generates antibodies against that drug. Those antibodies don't cross the blood-brain barrier.
The idea is to not have a vaccine for the general public, but for recovering addicts, and especially a safety net for first responders coming in contact with fentanyl and other compounds that are lethal, even in tiny amounts.
It switches off that switch, which means that the drug can't get to the brain and have its, its narcotic effect, as well as it can't lead to lethal overdose.
And just as importantly, it doesn't preclude the use of opioids in appropriate prescriptive form.
An antibody against fentanyl will not take away your ability to have other opioid-based pain relief if you need it to control pain.
And with these things everywhere in our homes nowadays, researchers, many of them University of Montana graduates, say it's exciting to work on something that could benefit so many people.
It's just really exciting to also know the science behind it too, on finding a novel way to really attack a problem that's really been an epidemic prior to COVID. And it's exciting to be able to help in that way.
The 5-year, $33 million effort should lead to a clinical trial sometime in the next year, but Dr. Evans says it will take teamwork.
It takes corporate partners. This program is partnered with Inimune, which is a biotech company right here in Missoula that's doing the GMP manufacturing and those aspects of it that don't fit well in a university environment and more of an industry side of things and controlling how well the product is manufactured and make sure it's safe for use in people.
In Missoula, Dennis Bragg, MTN News.
Rice and beans. Turns out that's all it takes to make a life-changing impact for families half a world away. MTN's Holly Brantley with our Positively Montana story.
Dozens of groups and families around Gallatin County and Bozeman coming together to feed other families for Future Forward Haiti. Hundreds of people from right here packing 75,000 meals.
One scoop, one bag of rice and beans at a time.
In each meal, we have rice and beans, dehydrated vegetables, and a vitamin powder.
It's the Future Forward for Haiti Pack-a-thon.
You filled it up in a bag and you just checked the weight, and then they sealed it shut and they put it in a box and they ship it off to Haiti.
One box will feed one child for an entire year.
In all, more than 400 people gathered at Hope Lutheran Church from all parts of the county to unite for the cause. The mission, feeding kids and moms and dads with 75,000 meals.
It makes me very proud of the community. Bozeman's always been a good community and I've loved living here, but seeing us all come together for a cause is just amazing.
There are people beyond those mountains with needs who are just as worthy as we here in Gallatin County are.
Organizers say this pack-a-thon does pack a powerful punch for families in Haiti, families who struggle with day-to-day life where means to provide food can be scarce. But when we reach out, families can worry less, life becomes a bit easier, and more kids can get to school.
To get together for something, just standing and scooping for an hour or two, it's a tangible difference.
They came from different denominations and organizations and teams like the Bozeman Barracudas.
Our motto is better athletes, better people, and this is the better people part. They work to serve their community and the greater community at large.
We have so many great resources here in Bozeman, and for somebody, it's hard to imagine somebody who doesn't have that.
They came from the Girl Scouts.
As a Girl Scout, we try to help as many people as possible, and I think one of the biggest things we could do is help another country.
And they came from the pews.
It's amazing, really. Just to know that we're feeding an entire school full of children for an entire school year.
They were explaining that sometimes families plan to eat every other day, and that is so different from our reality.
They also say at a time when celebrating diversity is taking center stage, it's extraordinary to not only come together with different races and backgrounds from Bozeman, but also know they are reaching out across so many miles to a country where daily life looks so different.
We're super thankful here to have clean water and food whenever we want. It's a big reminder how we can go to the store and buy food, but being here shows that not everybody has that opportunity.
Volunteers say they realize we may be different on the surface, but with needs that are so similar.
I'm just so proud to be in the treasure state where people are sharing their treasure.
After the event, the kids and families also got to sample the rice and beans that will be on the way to Haiti. To find out more about Future Forward Haiti and how you can help, go to our website. In Bozeman, Holly Brantley, MTN News.
This is the second year for the event, and it tripled in size from last year.